Well, the Army will be reduced to its smallest size since before the Second World War due to budget cuts. We knew that was coming. But as battles in the Middle East get bloodier by the day and the world becomes even more dangerous, why at the same time are our soldiers getting pink slips, some of them while deployed abroad? Here to discuss it is former Army captain who served in Iraq, a West Point graduate, Jonathan Hendershot. John, thanks for joining us this morning.
I appreciate it, Tucker. Thanks
so you wrote a piece in the New York Post, so interesting and sad, pointing out that hundreds of Army captains have received pink slips while serving abroad.
Yes, and I mean, just your opener, pre-World War II numbers. We expect a wind down, a force reduction,
yes,
as we come to the close of wars. We've never in the history of our country done a force reduction concurrently to fighting a war. I mean, we're still in Afghanistan.
Right.
So 1,100 captains receiving word that they're going to be released within the next 9 months. I mean, that's just going to put a further burden on the remaining population.
And some of them received that word again while they were in Afghanistan.
Yes, and that's the traumatic ones. Imagine having that phone call, calling your spouse at home. You're removed from it, and you're in Afghanistan or you're forward deployed, and you're calling your family.
You have a really poignant quote in your piece from an Army wife saying, "Here, I'm worried about my husband because he's in Afghanistan, and now I'm worried about what we're going to do next."
Oh, it's tough, and even when they get home, some of the releases are happening to company commanders, commanders that have hundreds of soldiers underneath that they're responsible for, and they get this notice. They're still in a leadership position.
Right.
They're taking care of soldiers' issues and addressing their needs on a daily basis while they have a pink slip.
I'm so confused by this, though. You think of all the people you could let go. I mean, obviously, we're going to reduce the size of the armed services. Of course, everyone knows that. Everyone agrees probably ought to. But why not the rear echelon guys? First, the captains deployed in a war zone, wouldn't they be the last ones you'd release?
And to build upon that point, the captain population, so that's a junior officer rank.
Yes.
For the last 14 years, those conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq have been fought at the junior officer level. Those guys have the biggest knowledge base of counterinsurgency operations, small unit tactics. Letting them walk out the door and losing that intellectual capital and failing to let them pass on lessons learned to upcoming lieutenants and within the pipeline is just, it's mind-boggling.
It seems like doing it backwards.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you would do. If someone said to you, reduce the size of the Army by X number, wouldn't those be the last guys you'd fire?
Yes. I mean, that target rank, and it's sad because the casualty tolls over the past 14 years, they tell the tale. It's going to be a loss of talent. And the Army's not like a sports franchise. We don't go through a rebuilding phase.
Right.
4 years from now, we can't bring those guys back. There's no, bringing back the LeBron Jameses and talent of the Army back in 4 years when we need to win a war. So time will tell, and it puts us at risk.
And it's also totally unpublicized. When GM lays off 10,000 guys, you know about it. In this case, you didn't until your piece. So I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you, Tucker.
Jonathan Hendershot, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Tucker.